Hi, I'm Jay Barbuto. I'm here to talk to you about the 5 sources of motivation, so let's get into it. We've got 5 sources of motivation. I want to talk about each one so that we can understand exactly what we're talking about when we talk about what motivates us to do the things that we do. So, we'll start with what are the most common roadblocks to motivating other people? What keeps us from being able to motivate the people around us? I'll tell you what it is. It's assumptions we make. The first is that people assume that other people share their own motivation and that people are motivated the same way. What happens if we think other people are motivated just like us? Well, we're going to try to motivate them in ways that would work for us. But this doesn't work for everybody because people aren't motivated the same way. So people fail to tap into the right sources of motivation. Others remain unmotivated, and the goals or the tasks don't get done. So what is the key to motivating other people? The key to motivating other people is tapping into the right source of motivation, or as we call it, knowing which buttons to press. This is what it takes to be able to motivate other people. So let's talk about the 5 ways that people can be motivated. What are the 5 buttons that we might have to press? The first source of motivation, well, that's actually, we got to talk about what are the sources of motivation first. This is sort of the disclaimer slide, because oftentimes when we equip people with the 5 sources of motivation, we don't always equip them with some information, some things to keep in mind that restrain them from being irresponsible with this information. Sources of motivation, what are they? These are the actual motives for doing things. They're the needs we have that must be satisfied in order for us to be motivated to do something. These are the reasons why we pursue things. When met, we exert effort. And what sources of motivation are not, they are not good or bad, and they are not universal. What I mean by universal is this. Nobody has just one source of motivation. We are all motivated by all 5 of these sources that I'll be presenting today, but in different amounts. So to understand a person's motivation, it's not to say which one are you or which one are you motivated by, but how much of each one do you require to be motivated. It's an important distinction in what we know about motivation. The first source of motivation I have as a sailboat, the picture of intrinsic process, because the actual joy of doing something symbolizes what intrinsic process is all about. And intrinsic process is the source where it's all about fun. The enjoyment during the activities. So if we're choosing tasks, we will choose whichever task sounds like it's going to be the most fun to do. A person motivated by intrinsic process will oftentimes put off tasks that aren't fun, and they'll be at their very best when they engage in the work they enjoy doing. So as a source of motivation, people who are motivated by intrinsic process are driven to have fun. Every day, what drives them that day, what they're motivated by, are those moments, those opportunities for them to enjoy themselves, to have fun. The second source of motivation is what we call instrumental motivation. Instrumental motivation is a source of motivation where it's all about getting tangible rewards. If we were motivated just by instrumental motivation, which nobody is, but if we were motivated just by this, all we would ever think about is how we could get whatever it is that we want. Instrumentally motivated people are motivated to pursue financial outcomes. So they are very focused on pay, they're very focused on rewards, on bonuses, on opportunities for advancement, not for the status of the advancement, but for the monetary benefits of the advancement. Instrumental motivation, jobs, career choices are based on rewards, based on money. The more I can earn, the more I will be motivated to do a certain job or pursue a certain career. The message an instrumentally motivated person sends to the world is, what's in it for me? So you ask them for a favor, what they ask themselves is, what's in it for me? And if they can find something that's in it for them, then they might be willing to do what you're asking of them. An instrumentally motivated person will view life as a series of exchanges. Their friends it's about exchanges with those friends. Relationships, it's about the exchanges within the relationships. At work, it's about the exchange between the company and the employee. People who are motivated this way view life as a series of exchanges. And to motivate them, you must demonstrate what it is they're going to get, what it is, how it is they're going to tangibly benefit from whatever it is you're asking them to do. And another thing we'll notice about an instrumentally motivated person is that they require the carrot. If you don't offer some kind of reward, some kind of carrot, there's a good chance you will not tap into their sources of motivation. They're always looking for a better situation. Notice how we've spelt situation, because it's usually a financial situation, that an instrumentally motivated person is always looking for a better financial situation. So this is the second source of motivation. The third source of motivation is what we call self-concept external. Self-concept external is all about improving our reputation. You know the song Reputation? Well, that song was written for this source of motivation. Here, it's the desire to meet others' expectations. It's, how am I doing? Is this what you want? Can I run something by you? These are all the types of things that a person would say when they're demonstrating their self-concept external source of motivation. People motivated this way will seek membership. They'll seek status within desired reference groups. You're going to notice that these folks will seek recognition and praise for the work that they do. They want to know how they've done. They want to know if you're happy with the quality of what they've done. They want you to tell them that you appreciate what they've done, that you appreciate the work that they've done, and that you think that they're good at what they do. A person motivated by self-concept external is all focused on their reputation and what other people think of them. The next source of motivation is the self-concept internal motivation. Self-concept internal motivation is all about giving yourself a challenge. You see, with this source of motivation, we want to prove to ourselves that we can do something. We're not interested in anything menial or ordinary. No, that's for other people. A self-concept internal person, they want challenging work. They want to prove something to themselves. So they tend to be motivated from within, and they seek activities that require their skills and their talents. So if you ask a person that's motivated by self-concept internal to do something that doesn't require their skills, they will probably not be motivated to do it. But ask them to do something that requires their skills, and you'll find a very motivated person. A person motivated by the self-concept internal oftentimes does not need the other things. They don't need the public recognition for their accomplishments, and they may not really need to be tangibly rewarded for things. But keep in mind, that would be assuming that a person was motivated just by the self-concept internal. Nobody is motivated just by the self-concept internal. There's always a little bit, or sometimes a lot, of all 5 sources of motivation. 5 sources of motivation. All 5 exist in all of us, but in different amounts. Understanding a person's motivation requires us to understand how much of each exists in a person. The last source of motivation, the 5th source of motivation, is called goal internalization. This motivation is about needing to believe in what we're doing. A person motivated by goal internalization is best when they're engaged in moral activities. They must know the purpose and desired goals of a project before they're willing to engage in making it happen. Principles guide choices for a person motivated by goal internalization. They'll pursue jobs with socially moral organizations. And so a goal internalized person is one of those people that will say, wait a second, what do we stand for? What are we trying to achieve? I need to know whether or not I believe in this because my motivation depends on it. So there's 5 sources of motivation. We have intrinsic process, we do it because it's fun. We have instrumental motivation, we do it because we're going to be tangibly rewarded for doing it. We have self-concept external motivation, we do it because other people will know we're doing it, it'll enhance our reputation. Self-concept internal, we do it because we want to prove to ourselves that we can do it. Goal internalization, we do it because it gives us a sense of purpose, and we need a sense of purpose in the things that we do. These are the 5 sources of motivation. And so, remember, people are motivated differently. All 5 sources exist in everybody, but in different amounts. If we want to motivate other people, We must identify what sources are necessary and find ways to tap into them. And this is very important, folks. In large groups, you must be able to tap into all of them. I'm Jay Barbuto. Thanks for tuning in for Sources of Motivation.